Well, get excited. This episode includes a plane, a train, a boat, and of course our van. I also include at the end some of my favorite photos from an incredible national park. We have found a slice of paradise. Our Alaska adventure begins. You know, this is the part of our trip that I've probably been looking forward to the most, and we are so excited that it's getting started. Come along on this episode. We are going to be heading up to Alaska, and so you're going to get to see a little bit of the drive up. And then we're heading to Skagway, where we're going to take a very historic train ride up through the mountains, and then head down to Juneau, where we're going to catch a flight to Glacier Bay National Park. So there's going to be a lot to see and a lot of adventures. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Joshua Wykes, and I'm an adventure and landscape photographer. And my wife Lavinia and our dog Tilly are living full-time in our Sprinter van, traveling all over the US and Canada. We are so excited that you're watching these episodes. The comments that you've been leaving from both people I know as well as people I've never met before has been so encouraging and so uplifting. So I really appreciate the feedback, the encouragement. If you want to continue to follow us on our adventures, hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions about us, about our van, about Tilly, about me, about Lavinia, leave a comment and I will be sure to get back to you. Again, thank you so much for watching these videos. I really appreciate your support and your encouragement. Well, let's get this adventure started. Let's get going. The drive to Alaska, so we started our journey to Alaska in Jasper, and our first destination in Alaska is Skagway. We decided to go on the Glacier Highway, which I wouldn't necessarily call it a highway. It's more of just a two-lane road, and there's been long stretches so far where there hasn't even been a center line or any shoulders, but it's the less traveled route compared to the Alcan, or what's called the Alaska Highway, and we're so glad that we chose this route because we've hardly seen any cars. The scenery has been spectacular. We're planning to do the drive up to Skagway in 7 days with 6 nights of stopovers. We're trying to limit our drive time to about 4 to 5 hours a day, trying to break up the drive as best we can, but man, this is beautiful. If you can add this to your bucket list, I know it's a long drive, but it is very beautiful, very scenic. And we're just excited to get to Alaska. Alaska is going to be our home for the next almost 7 weeks, and there are so many things that we have planned and places that we're going to see. We are so excited again to show that all to you. The one thing we are worried about probably the most is the weather. We fully expect the weather to derail some of our plans and our schedules. It's out of our control, so we're hoping to roll with it the best we can. The next thing that we're probably worried about the most is the mosquitoes. We're hoping they're not going to be too bad, but we've heard that it can be pretty notoriously bad. So we've come prepared, but stay tuned, and we again are excited for these adventures.
I wanna wander out of the valley where the river takes far away from home. Time to ponder in the fields around me where there's nothing but the breeze and the great unknown. Leave your worries and your suitcase. All you don't need, nothing but you. So don't throw your stone away.
On the drive up on the Glacier Highway, an absolute must-side trip is the trip over to the towns of Stewart, British Columbia and Hyder, Alaska. Here you will find 2 incredible glaciers, the Bear and Salmon glaciers. The town of Stewart is only about an hour's drive off the main highway, but we ended up staying one night and slept on a mining road right above the Slamming Glacier. It was a well worth side trip.
Just flames in the fire, and through the night that burn like me for you. Covered in wonder, sweet in silence. Oh, we'll keep running, we'll keep
We made it to Alaska. We are in Skagway right now, and we are so excited for this adventure to get going. The drive into Skagway was absolutely beautiful. I'm going to show you some footage of that. But here's the plan. So we're actually here for 2 days in Skagway. Tomorrow we're doing our train ride, which we are so excited about. So stay tuned for that. And then the day after, we are taking the ferry over to Juneau. Juneau is going to be our launching off point for Glacier Bay, where we're going to spend a couple days in that national park. So excited to be here. Can't wait to show you what we're seeing. Well, we're about to board the train. It's the White Pass and Yukon train route that goes from, well, the original route was from Skagway, Alaska up to Whitehorse in the Yukon of Canada. It was built in 1898 for the gold rush, and we're excited. We're actually in Carcross right now, which is in the Yukon, and we'll be taking the train down into Skagway. So really looking forward to this train ride. It should be spectacular. Here's some interesting facts about the Klondike Gold Rush. Over the span of just a couple years, 100,000 people set out to arrive in the Klondike with the hope of striking it rich. Only 30,000, though, of those actually arrived in the Klondike, and of that, only about 4,000 found gold. And of those 4,000, only about 300 actually found enough gold to be considered rich. For most, the route to the Klondike began in Skagway, and entailed a brutal 600-mile journey on foot, climbing over this pass that the train now climbs. This train route began construction in 1898 and took about 2 years to complete. So by the time it was completed, it was about a year too late, as the rush was basically over. This train route was still considered a huge success, though, and is a phenomenal engineering feat. In fact, it has been designated as an International Historic Civil Engineering Landmark. Our adventure to Juneau began on the ferry from Skagway. It was about a 5-hour ferry ride, and the weather wasn't the best, but it was still very beautiful. The next day we got to take in some of the sights of Juneau, including the incredible Mendenhall Glacier, which is literally just outside of town.
There it is.
Our trip to Glacier Bay National Park began with a short 20-minute flight from Juneau to the small town of Gustavus, Alaska.
Don't wait for me, honey.
From Gustavus, we took a short bus ride to the Glacier Bay Lodge, where we stayed for 2 nights and was home base for our exploring of the national park.
Your way. And I know.
Well, we are in Glacier Bay National Park, and we are about to start an 8-hour day boat tour, which we are so excited for. Hoping to see some wildlife and some glaciers and who knows what else. So let's get going. incredible first week in Alaska. You know, if this week was any indication of what our time in the State's going to be like, we are extremely excited. You know, I've said this before and I'm probably going to say it again, but there's just no way to show you guys everything that I'm seeing. But I'm hoping that these videos gave you a little bit of a taste of what we're getting up to and what we're seeing. And I've said this before as well, but really my goal with these videos is just to showcase the beauty of God's creation and just to give a little bit of a glimpse of that. I also hope though that these videos are inspiring you to get out and to explore. Maybe you don't have to come all the way up to Alaska to do that, but to get out and explore wherever you may be. Well, that's it for now. We'll see you on the road next time, and may God bless you.